This is Russell Dobular sitting in for Jimmy while he's performing in El Paso, Texas tonight, joined by everyone's favorite misanthrope, Keaton Weiss.
Thank you. Wearing my El Paso garb. These kind of shirts are big in El Paso.
If you can't be in El Paso, at least wear an El Paso shirt. Okay, so, we heard a lot about how Russian trolls helped elect Donald Trump. You may have heard something about that. Washington Post here. Russian trolls target U.S. support for Ukraine. Kremlin documents show, those pesky Russians undermining our support for a Nazi battalion. But hey, this story seems to have been overlooked. Someone who claims to have worked in a Ukrainian troll factory to defeat Donald Trump and also to build support for Ukraine has come out and released a video. So we're going to watch that. We'll stop here and there to comment.
Всім привіт. Мене звуть Олеся. Я розповім свою історію англійською мовою.
Now, this is a picture of the, if you've ever worked in a call center, they give you the sheet. So that's the sheet they were working from. And these are the pictures that they had in the office.
Guys, my name is Olesya, and I'm a former employee of the so-called troll fabric in Kiev, Ukraine. And today I want to tell you something about this structure and some reasons why I have left this job. I may be wrong, but I think it's the first time somebody published insider materials on this topic since 2019, when a journalist infiltrated the office in Kiev to make a report about it. And back then I did realize that it was a troll fabric, but I told myself it's okay because I always supported President Zelensky, and I still do. And yes, at first the job was focused on supporting President Zelensky online, like writing positive comments or posts, etc. So we were mostly working on Facebook and Instagram. As the time has passed, I was transferred from the Ukrainian department, which worked for Ukrainian audience, to the English-speaking department, which were focused on the English-speaking public, like Americans and Europeans. But the topics remain the same: support for President Zelensky, support for Ukraine, and Ukrainian war effort. We also had French, German, and Italian departments. I actually heard some other offices in Kiev were hiring people who spoke Finnish and also Swedish and Estonian. About a half year ago, our main chef in command, Andrei Borisovich Yermak, paid us a visit. I'm pretty sure you have heard of the head of President Zelensky office. Really, it was an unusual event for the main figure behind our project to come visit the office. So he came with some English-speaking officials who were introduced to us as the American partners. We were told that they were very important guests, but no further details. Some of my colleagues told me that they were probably CIA. During the visit, they said that our field of work is expanding, and we were told that our new target was the United States of America, especially the upcoming elections. Long story short, we were asked to do everything to prevent Donald Trump from winning the elections.
Okay. All right. So at first they were doing propaganda just on the Ukrainian population, which she felt morally okay with, just supporting President Zelensky. Then, according to her, Zelensky's, I guess we would call it a chief of staff, she describes him as the head of his office, shows up with Americans. Now, she doesn't confirm it. She's told that they're probably CIA, but she doesn't know. And after this visit, they are told to work to prevent Donald Trump from winning the election. Now, don't expect to see this on CNN, MSNBC, on the front page of the New York Times. But as in so many cases, what we accuse Russia of is exactly what we're doing or what our allies are doing. Keaton?
Yeah, I mean, when we read about Russian bot farms or troll farms buying ads on Facebook in 2016 and swinging the race from Clinton to Trump, like this is like when I would read those stories, you know how like sometimes when you're reading, you'll picture the thing that you're reading about in your mind. You'll come up with mental images and even some videos play in your head about what that might look like. This was like that. Like the images on the wall, like it is just like uncanny how this is like a physical manifestation of what we were told was this existential threat to our democratic system back in 2016. Like you couldn't have drawn it up any better to look like literally a cartoonish, over exaggerated mirror image of what they were talking about was happening in 2016. Yeah.
Right. Well, hopefully we're going to get on that list of people that they keep that they want to assassinate over there in Ukraine, right? We can get in good company with Jimmy. Jimmy's on that list. Roger Waters is on that list. So hopefully by the end of this segment, we'll be on it too.
So basically, this topic was added to our main lines of work. Since then, each of us had to post at least 3 or 5 posts daily, posing as the Americans and the Europeans, and criticizing Donald Trump and praising Biden. The Americans have even organized a few lectures for us to get a better understanding of American politics and American mindset and main social and politics issues. Then we were occupied with the topics for the job, which sounded like this. Unlike Trump, Biden is a smart and experienced politician. Unlike Trump, Biden will never betray NATO partners. Trump will alienate our partners. Also, Biden will not abandon Ukraine, and Biden will protect democracy while Trump is Putin's puppet. I honestly tried to convince myself it's okay, since Biden is a clearly better option for Ukraine. But, it was too much for me. Some of my colleagues felt really nervous too. One thing is to work for the best interests of my country, but interfering in US politics is a whole other thing.
So this is some filming of the Ukrainian bot farm there that they did.
I mean, tell me this is not exactly the imagery that they conjured up. What the hell is that?
Well, these are
it's a video.
These are actual memes that they dropped from this troll farm, according to her.
Yeah, I mean.
So, man, a lot of times you see these images on social media supporting Biden and you say, God, are there that many people this stupid? No, there aren't. A lot of them are bots. Some of them are not. I personally know people who are as bad as these memes would be that would post things like that unironically. But hey, a lot of them are. This is what was part of what was so crazy about Russiagate. Obviously, they completely exaggerated how much was going on and exaggerated how much influence there was. Sure, there were some troll farms, but it was very, screaming about Russia doing that. It was very much the scene in Casablanca. I had no idea there was gambling going on in this establishment. Really?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, really? Countries try to interfere in other countries' elections? Really? Oh, we never do that. We don't do that at all. It was fucking absurd. It was absurd. It was just taking this fact of life of politics and turning it into this. You know what it reminded me of? You remember when because Obama was such an eloquent speaker, his political enemies decided to play up the fact that he uses a teleprompter. Everybody uses a teleprompter, but they turned it into an issue. something that was just a given of politics. That's what they did with Russiagate. Of course, everybody's fucking around trying to interfere in elections. Now you know who there was really hard evidence interfered in our elections. Israel. What was it? The Nation that did that article about that? Yeah. You can look that up in The Nation. They did a great article. A lot of the evidence that looked fishy around Trump's campaign actually had to do with Israel rather than Russia. But yeah, no. So where's the outrage? Where's the outrage? Is Congress going to launch an investigation into this now?
Yeah, and if we're talking about, I mean, all of the hand-wringing about the troll farms and the influence of online trolls, the difference between a troll farm and a super PAC is money. A super PAC is basically a troll farm with money. A troll farm that can afford TV ads, right?
Right.
Because the troll farms have a low budget. They're in this shitty office space. They only have the budget to pay people to come up with stupid memes and they put them on the internet. So a super PAC, they'll come up with negative TV advertising and they'll put that on the baseball game and that this is respectable. Why? Because there's money behind it. It's the same thing. It's just negative partisanship. Right. That's all it is. Now, because there's a lot of money behind a super PAC, we think of it as this respectable thing. No, that's a troll farm with a budget.
Right. So here is some of what they were instructed to say about, well, at the top, this is kind of interesting. Russia will not stop in Ukraine. If Ukraine falls, Russia will invade Europe and then attack the USA. How many times have you heard that? How many times have you heard that from pro-Ukraine people? Now, a lot of the dumb shitlibs that have absorbed it, but what put it in the bloodstream? And a lot of it is coming out of these kind of bot farms, putting out these talking points. Ukraine is fighting for the American values. Ukraine is the most corrupt nation in Europe. That's not my opinion. That's not speculation. That is, studies showed that before this war broke out. You'll never hear about that now. Giving money to Ukraine is the right thing morally. Okay. So this is Trump. There's no real support for Trump among the American voters. Most of the Trump supporters online are in fact Russian bots paid by Putin. Wow. Well, they need to visit America because that's certainly not true. There are parts of the country where there are only Trump signs. Trump and the whole Republican Party are Putin's assets. So now you see, when you look at this, all of this echoes so much of the conversation online. And so much of it is driven by this kind of propaganda we were told was coming at us from Russia. Trump does not respect women, people of color, and the LGBTQ plus community. That's a weird one for them to have the Ukrainians pushing.
Not like the Azov.
Not like the Azov battalion. Yeah. Those guys, they just changed their stormtrooper insignia to have rainbow colors, I heard.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you get the idea. So basically, all of these things that are in the bloodstream, you'll hear this all the time if you argue with libs. This gives you a little insight into where this kind of propaganda comes from. And these are some of the bot accounts that they used with handles, Twitter handles there, that Facebook, right? So yeah, no, there are agents out there from, I would argue all the powers have agents working out there online. Any power with sufficient size and means. Yes, when you start talking about countries, I've had that experience. I don't want to get into a whole thing, but there's a certain country. Whenever I talk about it, I got people who are clearly working out of troll farms show up to start defending that country. It's not just them. We do it. Everybody does it. I think the real story here is that we created a completely false scandal out of what was a rather trivial operation or series of operations that Russia was running that were a speck of dust in the eye of the super PACs that you're mentioning that are really influencing elections.
Hey, come see us do a live show in El Paso, Texas, San Antonio, Denver, Colorado, Los Angeles, California, May 19th at the Zephyr Theater. That's a panel show with video. Ashland, Virginia, Athens, Georgia, Rutherford, New Jersey, Minneapolis, Ontario, California, Irvine, California. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.